You're listening to East Hearts Radio.
I love the music, takes me back to when I was younger. It's just a good music mix and you can sing along, it's all sort of happy times, and yeah, I love it.
It's the best local station.
East Hearts Radio, your local community radio station.
Local radio by local people.
For more details, visit our website, eastheartsradio.co.uk.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this 2-hour show. My name's Dennis O'Sullivan, and I'm going to be playing you lots of music and telling you lots of stories. Some of the stories connected to the music and some not. I've got so many songs and so many stories. I'm really looking forward to this. Some of my stories are about things that haven't even happened yet. So the music, mainly unplugged, sort of acoustic, sometimes folky, and a basic idea here from show of hands as to what should happen to music when we get back playing live.
Now it's been 25 years or more I've roamed this land from shore to shore, from Tyne to Tamar, 7 to Thames, from Water Vale, from Peak to Fen. Played in cafes and pubs and bars, I've stood in the street with my own guitar. But I'd be richer than all the rest if I had a pound for each request. For Julian Banjo's American Pie, it's enough to make you cry. Rule Britannia or Swing Low are the only songs the English know. Seed, bud, flower, fruit, they're never gonna grow without their roots. Branch, stem, shoots, they need roots. When the cake's been cut, the disco's over and that bar is shut. At christening, birthday, wedding, or wake, what can we sing until the morning breaks? When the Indian, Asians, Afro counts, it's in their blood below the belt. They're playing and dancing all night long, so what have they got right that we've got wrong? Seed, bud, flower, fruit, never got no in their roots. Branch, we need roots and haul away, boys, let them go out in the wind and the rain and snow. We've lost more than we'll ever know round the rocky shores of England. Haul away, boys, let them go out in the wind and the rain and snow. We've lost more than we'll ever know round the rocky shores of England. We need roots. Said his vision of hell is 3 folk singers in a pub near Wells. Well, I've got a vision of urban sprawl. It's pubs where no one ever sings at all, and everyone stares at a great big screen. Overpaid soccer stars, prancing teams, Australian soap, American rap, S3 English baseball caps. And we learn to be ashamed before we walk of the way we look and the way we talk. Without our stories or our songs, how will we know where we come from? I've lost St. George in the Union Jack. That's my flag too, and I want it back. Seed, bud, flower, fruit, never gonna grow without their roots. Branch, stem, shoot.
play a song by Ewan MacColl, the great, the obnoxious, the talented, the sexist, the playwright, actor, musician, Ewan MacColl, father of Kirsty and various other musicians. Ewan started the first English folk club, the Ballads and Blues Club in Soho in the early 50s, and he had some very firm views on what could be played by whom. So, if you're English, you could sing an English song, and if you were Irish, you could not sing an English song. If you were American, you could only play an American tune. And there are stories of him inflicting great violence or threatening violence on people who dared to cross the boundaries between countries in their choice of music. His second rule was women and men were not allowed to wear makeup. So, I'm playing a song because he wrote some beautiful songs. He wrote with his third wife, Peggy Seeger, an American, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, which you will know as a soul song. But the song I'm playing now is really well known, Dirty Old Town by Ewan MacColl, a song about his native Salford, a song that says what a dirty old town is.
I found my love by the gasworks crofts, dreamed a dream by the old canal, kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Heard a siren from the dark, saw trains at the night on fire, smelled a spring on the smoky wind.
Dirty old town, dirty old town. Clouds are drifting across the moon, cats are prowling on the beach, springs a girl in the street at night. Dirty old town, dirty old town. To make a good sharp axe, shining steel tempered in the fire, will chop you down like an old dead tree. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Many of you will know that I'm a local head teacher. In my 23 years at Chauncey School, I have had the honour of inflicting pain on audiences at our Chauncey Roxham Easter concerts and Christmas concerts. Every year I get to sing Fairy Tale of New York with my band, the Merry Men, featuring Natalie Glover, a most wonderful singer, doing a female part, and me doing the Shane MacGowan part. I love playing live. I'm sorry for the pain. So I'm going to play now is Kirsty MacColl singing a Billy Bragg song. Billy Bragg, the Left Wing folk singer. Not as left-wing as Ewan McCall, who was a dedicated communist right to the end, even after it was clear that Stalin was murdering his own people. Anyway, Kirsty once went up to Billy Bragg in a restaurant and jumped on his table and said, give me a song, I want that song. The song is New England. It actually got to number 7 in the charts all the way back in 1985. Unfortunately, Kirsty, who was a really lively pop rock musician, died very young. She died literally saving her 15-year-old son from a motorboat off the coast of Mexico, where she and her sons were diving, supervised diving, and some rich man in a motorboat drove up where he shouldn't be, and she pushed her son out of the way. He got injured, she died. The story goes on. The driver, the man who said he was driving the boat, and he wasn't, was just an employee. He got 34 months in prison in Mexico for causing Kirsty McCall's death. However, in Mexico at that time, you could get off the prison sentence, in this case, by paying the princely sum of $90 American. And $2,000 in compensation. Kirsty McCall's life was worth $3,000. Later, the guy who took the blame said he was taking the blame for his employer. Anyway, for better things, better news, here is Kirsty McCall singing the Billy Bragg song, New England. And there's a message there as well.
My life
I was on a radio station a few months ago talking about education and schools, and the interviewer was saying, oh, people are saying this is all a plot by left-wing trade unionists and militants in the teachers' unions refusing to go along with the government and do the right thing. At the time, I was refusing to go along with the government and do what I thought was the wrong thing. And the wrong thing was opening our schools in September to everyone, all at once. If you've read my blog, or if you're local and read the Facebook page for Chauncey School, you'll probably know that I had a whole stream of people trying to persuade me to do what the government wanted, as opposed to what I thought was right for the school. I'm not a martyr. I'm very old. I'm almost untouchable because I have the most fantastic school staff, students and parental support. But that's not the point. The point really is that the interviewer was shocked and silenced when I said, I consider myself to be a socialist and I've been a trade unionist for 50 years. And I can't work out why he was stunned by that. Going to take you back to sort of 1910, 1920 in America, and the trade union movement there was very weak. The mines and the itinerant labouring jobs were taken by Swedes, Germans, Irish, Americans of all descriptions who had come to the country as immigrants. An organisation called the IWW was started up by some very left-wing international workers of the world, socialists. They called the Wobblies to a lot of people. And they fought the government, fought the Pilkington Agency, and sometimes they died in that fight. They left a lot of songs, and one song, Joe Hill, has been covered by loads and loads of artists. The story of Joe Hill is a good one. Maybe shows how injustice works in America in the 1920s. Some might say it still works that way today. Joe Hill was a womanizer. On the night that a local businessman had been shot and killed, Joe Hill turned up with a bullet wound. He got arrested, unlike the other 12 people in Salt Lake City that evening who turned up with bullet wounds. However, he got arrested, he got tried, and he refused to speak for himself in the trial. Some say because he was having an affair with his best mate's girlfriend. Whatever the story, Joe Hill saw himself better serving the IWW and the idea of world socialism as a dead martyr. So he died. He was executed. He left a will, which I'll play you sometime. As last, my will is easy to decide, for I have nothing to divide. Anyway, his ashes were put into 600 separate envelopes and posted to workers' organisations throughout America and the world. The US Post Office seized one envelope because of its subversive potential. Oh wow, you know, when we leave this world, if our ashes have subversive potential, maybe even the potential to do some good, wouldn't that be great? Anyway, the IWW still exists. It's gone way, way down from its peak. 1917, it had about 150,000 members. One big union. Everybody could be members. Black people could be members, which was unusual. Women could be members, which was unheard of. Asians, black, immigrants, everybody could be members of the Wobblies. The song, Joe Hill, many people will know it by someone called Joan Baez or people like that, but I've got a version by Paul Robeson. Now, Paul Robeson, a little bit like Charlie Pride, was victimised because he was black When you hear this song, which I'll play in a few minutes, you'll know Paul Robeson. What a voice. He was an actor. He played in Othello in England. He was a concert singer. He was a qualified lawyer, though he left the legal profession because of the corruption that he saw all around him. He actually got a degree in Swahili from the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. He was a civil rights worker in the 50s and 60s. He was a big fan in America because when he went to America, he actually said in Moscow, "Here, I am not a Negro, but a human being for the first time in my life." He was considered to be a communist, a subversive, anti-American by the McCarthyite trials in America in the 1950s, and he refused to testify against his friends, and they banned his songs. They banned his films. They were all removed from distribution. Because he was a communist. He was anti-Nazi. He was in favour of the Republican side, the government in Spain in the Civil War, and he even went as far as proclaiming and working for Aboriginal rights. And at the same time in England, when he was performing in Othello, he was refused a seat in the Savoy Grill in London's finest hotel. So here's Paul Robeson singing the Ballad of Joe Hill. And what you've got to remember is that Joe Hill never died.
I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, am standing by my bed.
My next song means so much to me. The artist, John Martin, meant so much to me. This song, May You Never, is a song I sang to my youngest daughter every night when I put her to bed. I changed the words, of course, so much so that if I now play her that song by John Martin, she refuses to acknowledge it and turns it off. Should I ever die? May You Never may well be one of the songs at my funeral. But let me tell you a little bit about me and John Martin. I first met him in 1970 when he was performing in Southampton, and his posters had been scored through with a sort of Stanley knife so that people wouldn't steal them. He was so angry that he wanted to fight me, even though I was just passing by. He then played beautifully. He used to put an Echoplex, a sort of thing, onto his guitar, an acoustic guitar, and play the most amazing music with the most phenomenal voice, a really sexy, husky, low-down voice. I'll be playing a lot of John Martin on these shows. And just like Ewan McCall, where the contradictions in the person's personality maybe mean you don't want to listen to the music. Well, John Martin was married to Beverly for many years, and Beverly Martin, with whom he performed, said, "How could such a pig of a man write such beautiful songs?" So the next time I met John Martin, I was promoting a drugs benefit concert at Southampton University. It was a concert where half the money was going to Release, the drugs organisation, who counselled and supported a lot of addicts, and to some local druggies who'd got arrested, busted and fined. And John Martin came down and played for nothing. I was in charge of the beer money. And I swear John Martin and Danny Thompson had about 10 pints when I swayed up to the stage with the 11th pint. And they played the most beautiful music. And they played it for free. Next time I saw John Martin, he got sick over my sister, the mean fiddler in Harlesden in London. John had a problem with alcohol. He pretty much died from the alcohol. And he had a problem, well, not so much of a problem, but he did a lot of drugs. And he was particularly keen on smoking marijuana in concerts. Didn't get arrested or anything, but he used to do that. So he swore undying love to my sister Patricia in the Mean Fiddler in Harlesden as he got sick on her shoes. The last time I saw John Martin was in Cambridge at the Corn Exchange, and he'd had his leg amputated through the alcohol and an operation that had gone very wrong. He was no longer the pretty boy of the 1970s. He was a grizzly man, and he'd gone back to singing in an incredibly Scottish accent that very few of us in the audience could understand. Anyway, when he died, the kids at my school, if they went in the hall, had inflicted upon them a video of John Martin live in concert. 30, 40 years of my life watching John Martin. There are other concerts I could tell you about as well, but 40 years listening to John Martin since 1968, and I'm still listening. And this is, for me, one of the most beautiful songs. May You Never.
May you never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May I never make your bed out in the cold. Just like a great and strong brother of mine, you know that I love you true. You never talk and touch it behind my back, and I know that it's those that do. Oh, please, won't you bear it in mind? Love is a lesson to learn in our time. Oh, please, won't you bear it in mind for me? May you never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May you never make your bed out in the cold. You're just like a close sister to me. You know that I love you true. You're holding no blade to stab me in the back, and I know that it's something to do. Please, won't you bear it in mind? Love is a lesson to learn in our time. Oh, please, won't you bear it in mind for me? May you never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May you never make your bed out in the cold. Just like a great and strong brother of mine, you know that I love you true. You never talk and touch it behind my back, and I know there's those that do. Oh, please, won't you bear it in mind? Love is a lesson to learn in our time. Oh, please, won't you bear it in mind for me? May I never lose your temper if you get in a barroom fight. May I never lose your woman overnight. May I never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May I never make your bed out in the cold. May I never lose your temper if you get in a barroom fight. May I never lose your woman overnight. May I never lose your woman overnight. May I never lose your woman overnight.
to East Hearts Radio.
I love the music. Takes me back to when I was younger. It's just a good music mix, and you can sing along. It's all sort of happy times, and yeah, I love it.
It's the best local station.
East Hearts Radio, your local community radio station.
Local radio by local people.
For more details, visit our website, eastheartsradio.co.uk.
This is East Hearts Radio, and I'm Dennis O'Sullivan, playing acoustic music, folky music, and just stuff I really like to play. I had the misfortune today of driving in the car when Piers Morgan was talking on the radio. I'm not sure if that was a greater misfortune than listening to Boris Johnson the other day, but I didn't enjoy the journey. It seems to me that we're missing a clear, unambiguous line from the government, that what we need is what we had during the first phase of lockdown. Do this, do that, and everything will be better. So now we're talking about the possibilities of a circuit break, and they don't seem to have a clue. It seems to me the reason they don't have a clue is that they weren't elected to be a leadership, to be a government, or even to have any common sense. They were elected on a series of sound bites, bluster, bombast, and what the Irish would call blackguarding. And of course, let's get Brexit done. And God help us where that's going. So, here's a song, Change Are Gonna Come, by Otis Redding, followed, uninterrupted, by a second song of a similar nature. And I'm not even going to tell you the title, because you'll get it soon enough.
Brother, help me, please. Oh,
dear mother, oh man. I said, mother, I'm down on my knees. But there was a time that I thought, Lord, this could last a very long, man. Somehow I thought I was still able to try to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gotta come. It's been so long, I lived too long, but change has gotta come. So tired of suffering, standing by myself and standing up alone, but change has gotta come. You know, and I know, you know that, I know, and you know, honey, that a change is gonna come.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Some writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. Mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out a new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing.
Continuing my theme of having a go at the government, this time over education. Didn't they treat our kids terribly last summer? Downgrading the 16-year-olds and the 18-year-olds according to an algorithm that the government didn't understand, didn't look at, didn't take advice on. And then these young people have gone to university when they could have stayed at home. They've gone there. They're in accommodation now that is locked down. Hundreds and hundreds of them have got the virus because they went out and partied a bit in September. You may blame them. That's okay. Now They're up there at university, wherever they are, paying £9,300 for lectures online, for tutorials online, for libraries online. They're living in bubbles. Locked down, some days almost chained up. Good luck to all of you up there at your universities. I doubt you're listening to me, but if you are, we hope to see you back at Christmas. Maybe you'll come back to our town.
Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worrying about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. But no one knows for certain, and so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say once gone, you're gone forever, and some say you're gonna come back. Some say rest in the arms of the Savior if in sinful ways you lack. Some say that they're coming back in a garden, bunch of carrots and little sweeties. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. But no one knows for certain, and so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say they're going to a place called glory, and I ain't saying it ain't a fact. But I've heard that I'm on the road to purgatory, and I don't like the sound of that. Well, I believe in love and to live my life accordingly. But I choose to let the mystery be. Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. But no one knows for certain, and so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. I think I'll just let the mystery be.
That was Iris DeMent singing Our Town, and that brings me on to part of what I'd like to be doing on this show each week. I'd like to be playing local musicians from our local towns who have been locked down, have been put out of work, have had their gigs cancelled, their weddings, parties, anything, all cancelled. So a little bit of local music now from a band that were about to call it a day in 1969. We're going to pack in with their 16-year-old guitarist, a guy called Richard Thompson, and their young singer, a woman called Sandy Denny. But instead, they moved to a place called Much Haddam and recorded their next 3 albums. The track I'm going to play you is called Meet on the Ledge, proper old-style folk, and the band, of course, is Fairport Convention.
We used to say there'd come the day we'd all be making songs, or finding better words. These ideas never lasted long. The way is up along the road, the air is growing thin. Too many friends who try, blown off this mountain with the wind. Meet on the ledge, we're gonna meet on the ledge. When the time is up, see I'm all alone, but that's the only way to be. You'll have your chance again, then you can do the work for me. Meet on the lake, we're gonna meet on the lake. When the time is up, I'm gonna see all my friends. Meet on the lake, we're gonna meet on the lake. If you really need it, it all comes round again. Meet on the lake, we're gonna meet on the lake. When the time is up, I'm gonna see all of my friends. Meet on the lake, we're gonna meet on the lake. If you really need it, it all comes round again.
Fairport Convention have been going about 50 years now, and they're still turning out records. Richard Thompson made maybe 50 albums on his own, half a dozen with his wife, Linda. And Sandy Denny, unfortunately, very young, fell down the stairs one day and died. However, they recorded a lot of traditional folk songs, but they rocked them up, and they more or less created, to my mind, something called folk rock. But if you like folk music, you've got to understand that it's got to move on. And move on it has done with a band called the Imagined Village. The Imagined Village includes sitar, they include Benjamin, Zephaniah on vocals, tablas, guitars, the whole lot. And what they've done is they've reimagined the old story of Tam Lin. And it's a long one. Here it goes.
Don't be scared. It was the first of May, a righteous holiday. This was when the workers they celebrate fertility. It was the first of May, a righteous holiday. This was when the workers they celebrate fertility. It was the first of May. She stepped into the club, looking for the holy herb and a magical dub. A virgin full of rhythm, her passion shining bright. Her future in her hand and she was holding it tight. Soon she found that holy herb, it was sweet Caribbean. She burned that holy herb in an organic chillum. As she moved to the beers, she reached out to creation. There was time and space for this heavenly maiden. It was the first of May, a righteous holiday. This was when the workers they celebrate fertility. It was the first of May, a righteous holiday. This was when the workers they celebrate fertility. He was a mover and a shaker who was prone to temptation. He stepped up to the angel and made his objection, saying, woman was not made to partake in this herb. He cursed that she was humble and she called him absurd. Then she took him to a place that was not very far. They connected at the waist in the back of her car. Her innocence was gone in just under an hour. He was forced to hang on as she flashed her girl power. It was the first of May, a righteous holiday. This was when the workers they celebrate fertility. It was the first of May, a righteous holiday. This was when the workers they celebrate fertility. Love is impatient. It ignores traditions and conventions. It is not bound by human constructs, jurisprudence, and the laws of men. Love reaches out and holds the open-hearted. It demands attention. It is in a world of its own, yet it connects worlds that will forever be set apart. set apart.
Well, I have a sweet hope of glory in my soul. Have a sweet hope of glory in my soul. Well, I have a sweet hope of glory in my soul. Have a sweet hope of glory in my soul. Oh, I know I have, and I feel I have a sweet hope of glory in my soul.
This is how we go, make love, not war. This is how we do it, make love, not war. This is how we flow, make love, not war. This is how we do it, make love, not war. This is how we go, make love, not war. This is how we do it, make love, not war. This is how we flow.
Our man had moved on, woman said he was wild. Then our lady found she was heavy with child. When she told her father, he said, go seek him out. She found him 6 months later downtown, hanging about. He said, who is the daddy? She said, you are the one. He said, I am an alien, and quite soon I'll be gone. Customs and immigration want to get rid of me. There's no peace in my nation. I'm a war refugee. There's no peace in my nation. I'm a war refugee. There are people in uniform out to get me. There's no peace in my nation. There's nowhere I can hide. If you really do love me, will you stay by my side? I may groove on the dance floor, but my pain is quite great. I don't know all the answers, but I'm trying to relate. Since I've been here in exile, I just don't know my fate. And the best-selling tabloids always greet me with hate. There's no peace in my nation. I'm a war refugee. I'm surrounded by war, but there's love inside me. There's no peace in my nation, and I'm feeling downhearted. And the beastie boys get me until I'll be deported. So I need you to hold me tight tomorrow in court. And I need you to fill yourself with positive thoughts, because I wanna be with you, and I wanna live. So I need you to...
I'm going to take you back to my adolescence. Catholic schoolboy, aged 17. Went off with some friends to the Temple Club in Wardour Street for my first all-nighter. It was an atrocious band called House, a band with two drummers called the Pink Fairies. And then around about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, we sat there feeling really sleepy, and in came the police. The police allegedly were looking for underage people. Goodness knows if I was an underage person. But to a man and to a woman, we stood up, and out on stage came the Edgar Broughton Band, and we joined them in a chorus of Out, Demons, Out. I've often wondered if I'm on the live version of this song. It's not much of a song, but it was a wonderful night, and the police left. Out, Demons, Out by the Edgar Broughton Band. I guess I was part of the Woodstock generation in many ways. I mean, the 60s passed me by. Being a London Irish Catholic schoolboy, I didn't know what any of it was about, but I loved my music. Would I have gone to Woodstock given the chance? I doubt it. I haven't been to Glastonbury or Reading. The best I've ever done is a day at Cambridge, sat on the floor for a folk festival. But Woodstock happened in 1969, I believe. And many, many artists, like my beloved Melanie, made a reputation for herself there. I think on the opening day, a guy called Richie Havens went on stage and playing very, very basic guitar, he sang a 5-minute song called Freedom. A black guy at a rock concert singing a song about freedom. If you see the film, I reckon his fingers bled. Goodness knows how he didn't break guitar strings. But here it is. It's a simple song. Let's sing along if you like. Freedom.
Let's welcome Mr. Richie Havens.
I'm working hard on the links here. Joni Mitchell did not go to Woodstock, but she watched it on TV and so wrote and recorded a single called Woodstock, which went really, really high in the charts. I'm not going to play that because she didn't go to Woodstock. What I am going to do is play one of the earliest singer-songwriting, Californian-based environmental protection songs. Big Yellow Taxi, with a really sexy laugh at the end.
Paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum. Charge the people $1.50 just to see them. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Hey, farmer, put away the DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, or leave me the birds and the bees. Seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Late last night I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. I said, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot.
When I was planning this playlist for tonight's show, I was thinking of the number of times that a young woman let me down by not taking up the ticket for a concert. Sometimes that young woman was my youngest sister, Patricia, but there were others. So in 1969 again, I believe, at the Gaumont State in Kilburn, Steel Eye Span and the wonderful Jethro Tull showcasing their new album, which was called Aqualung. And I'll play some of Steel Eye Span and Jethro Tull in the forthcoming weeks. I'm in the front row and the seat beside me is empty. The concert was sold out, but Sue Quinn did not turn up. Sue, if you're listening, now you're 68 years of age. Why didn't you come to that concert? However, you can always rely on family. And my sister, Kathy, she turned up for Harry Chapin at the Rainbow a couple of years later. And Harry did lots of audience participation songs, including one about a lorry load of bananas travelling down a hill and the brakes go and it ends up with 30,000 pounds of squashed bananas. Well, it was an audience participation song, but I'd done my neck in and was in a neck collar, and I couldn't clap or move my head from side to side, and I wasn't going to stand up and sing along because I couldn't move my head properly. And I reckon Harry Chapin spent a lot of that song, and it was a long song, looking straight at me, and I couldn't say, Harry, it's okay, I can't move. A week later, he died in a car crash. And I've got a horrible dream that his last vision was the 5,000 people at the Rainbow in Finsbury Park clapping and singing along and enjoying his concert, where there was this one idiot about 12 rows back who wouldn't move a muscle. So Harry, I'm sorry. And instead I'm going to play Taxi, a song that I once played to a taxi driver who was learning to become a teacher, and he sang along with every word.
It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said 16 Parkside Lane. Something about her was familiar. I could swear I seen her face before. But she said, I'm sure you're mistaken. And she didn't say anything more. It took a while, but she looked in the mirror. Then she glanced at the license for my name. A smile seemed to come to her slowly. It was a sad smile just the same. And she said, how are you, Harry? I said, how are you, Sue? Through the too many miles and the too little smiles, I still remember you. Was somewhere in a fairy tale. I used to take her home in my car. We learned about love in the back of a Dodge. The lesson hadn't gone too far. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights. I took off to find the sky. Whoa, I've got something inside me to drive the princess blind. There's a wild man wizard, he's hiding in me, illuminating my mind. Oh, I've got something inside me, not what my life's about. 'Cause I've been letting my outside tide me over till my time runs out. There was not much more for us to talk about. Whatever we had once was gone. So I turned my cab into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trim lawns. And she said, we must get together, but I knew it'd never be arranged. Then she handed me $20 for a $2.50 fare. She said, Harry, keep the change. Well, another man might have been angry, and another man might have been hurt, but another man never would let her go. I stashed the bill in my shirt, and she walked away in silence. It's strange how you never know, but we'd both gotten what we'd asked for such a long, long time ago. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, I took off for the sky. And here she's acting happy inside her handsome home, and me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I go flying so high when I'm stoned.
More political music for you. A guy called Woody Guthrie, a hobo, a wandering balladeer, a strong union man, died of Huntington's disease in 1967, and by his bedside for the previous few weeks was a young man called Bob Dylan, who wrote a tribute to Woody Guthrie on his first album. Woody's son Arlo has written a magnificent Alice's Restaurant, which I'll try and play all 16 minutes of it at a later date, if the station will let me. But Woody was described as having an infinite sweep of humanity in his songs, and they were very basic and they were very short. And he said, I only play 2 chords, 3 if there's a young woman around and I'm trying to impress. So here's the most famous Woody Guthrie song, and one I only wish was true. This land is your land.
This land is your land, and this land is my land. From the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went a-walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway, saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. All around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling. The voice was chanting as the fog was lifting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, and this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, the dust clouds rolling, the voice coming chanting, and the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me.
Most of the songs I'm choosing for you today are songs with which I have an identity, or a story, or a dream, or a relationship. And the next one, by the Soul Doctors, is definitely real, and the relationship is absolutely real. It's my eldest daughter, Scarlett, and we've had this relationship that meant we've seen the Saw Doctors 20 times, quite often in the Junction in Cambridge, a wonderful venue that I hope survives the pandemic. So we've seen the Saw Doctors, and one of the songs that Scarlett loves is Clare Island. Won't you meet me on Clare Island? So we decided to go just before the school term started last year, not this sad year, but in 2019. We got a plane to Knock, which is a shrine, but it's okay because nobody's praying at the shrine anymore because they can't get the priests in Ireland, and there were reasons for that I'll tell you about some other time. We then drove into Galway City, and I went to my favourite bookshop and went to our favourite pub, and then we drove up to Westport, right up there on the west coast of Clare, and then the following day we got the ferry out from Una to Clare Island. Now, Scarlett doesn't like boats, and we were on a boat, but it was only a 20-minute, half-hour journey, and the weather wasn't too bad. And also, the fact that there were dolphins swimming alongside us for the full 20 minutes was absolutely incredible. The boatman said, in response to a question, everybody tries to sing Clare Island to me. I'm fed up listening to it. Well, I'll never be fed up listening to it. And the hours we spent on Clare Island in 2019 are a very special memory. And the Saw Doctors, the lead singer's voice has gone. I'm just dying for them to start again. Meet Me on Clare Island by the Saw Doctors.
Will you meet me on Clare Island? Summer stars are in the sky. We get the ferry out from Runa and wave all our cares goodbye. And we'll go dancing at the Cayley. We go kissing on the Strand. Take our clothes off in the moonlight, skinny dipping hand in hand. We'll start drinking in the twilight, keeping up until the dawn. Both the bars because there's no guards. Take our names and send us home. Clare Island. Summer stars are in
My youngest sister, Patricia, who sadly died a few years ago after 12 years of cancer treatments, she did a DJ session or a series of sessions for the Jamaican Broadcasting Company out of Harlesden in North London, near where we lived. JBC wanted to get a community licence. They were pirate. And so they thought having a young Irish woman doing an Irish music show might get them the community involvement they required. She did the show for many months, and she learned a lot about the music of our heritage whilst doing the show. So she stopped calling it diddly dee music and started referring to it as traditional Irish music. Before she did the first show, I took her through a load of the artists I loved, and she asked me the question that I will remember for the rest of my life. Who's this Christy Moore bloke? Well, for you, here's Christy Moore singing the beautiful, the sad, the unrequited Nancy Spain.
Of all the stars that ever shone, not one does twinkle like your pale blue eyes. Like golden corn at harvest time, your hair sailing in my boat, the wind gently blows and fills my sail. Your sweet scented breath is everywhere. Daylight peeping through the curtains of the passing nighttime is your smile. The sun in the sky is like your laugh. Come back to me, my Nancy. Linger for just a little while. Since you left these shores, I've known no peace nor joy. No matter where I wander, I'm still haunted by your name. The portrait of your beauty stays the same. Standing by the ocean, wondering where you've gone, if you'll return again. Where is the ring they gave to Nancy Spain? On a day in spring, when snow starts to melt and streams to flow, with the birds I'll sing a song. In a while I'll wander down by Bluebell Grove, where wild flowers grow, and I'll hope that lovely Nancy will return. No matter where I wander, I'm still haunted by your name. The portrait of your beauty stays the same. Standing by the ocean, wondering where you've gone, if you'll return again. Where is the ring I gave to Nancy Spain?
Going to get a little bit more serious now and play you a Billie Holiday song The song is Strange Fruit. If you didn't know who Billie was, she was a black singer, jazz singer of the 30s, 40s, 50s, who had a dreadful childhood and died in a dreadful way and was abused by dreadful men all the way through her relatively short life. She sang Strange Fruit, a song about lynched black men hanging from trees in the southern states. She didn't get to play this song or sing this song very often because she was barred from playing in mixed bands in the southern states in the 1950s. But it's an incredibly powerful song. It's an awful song, and it's one we shouldn't forget. Played you much country music today, and I've played you virtually no Irish music, and I can guarantee you I'll play you some Americana country music next week and a whole load of Irish music by contemporary bands and some old-fashioned bands. I want to also play some music by local performers. I'm going to have Okavanga on, who are a fantastic guitar duo made up of Will and Angela Cox. Fantastic guitarists that I've seen live and actually ran a acoustic and that folky club with in Hertford and Ware for a couple of years. But nobody goes out anymore, even before lockdown. Anyway, I'm going to play 4 tracks now, end to end, without any more words from me. First one is Paul Newman, the great blue-eyed actor. The Hustler is probably my favourite film of his of all time, but Cool Hand Luke is magnificent. The ultimate rebel, put in prison for knocking the tops off parking meters and ending up shot rather than sending back to prison. So, Plastic Jesus, the sort of little metallic things, badges that you would stick by the steering wheel in your car to protect you from evil. Going to follow that with Mary Gauthier, who is an Americana singer, and her song Our Lady of the Shooting Stars. Then Jerry Jeff Walker singing Mr. Bojangles, a song done beautifully by Bob Dylan, Nina Simone, loads and loads of people. Again, a song about a guy in prison and the end of his life. And then the fourth song is Robert Earl Keen, Feeling Good Again. And this has a sort of resonance with me. He had such a lucky night in this song. And I really felt for him by the end of it.
Take it with you when you travel far. Get yourself a sweet Madonna dressed in rhinestone satin on pedestal of abalone shell. Going 90, I ain't scary, 'cause I got the Virgin Mary assuring me that I won't go to hell. Get yourself a sweet Madonna dressed in rhinestone satin on pedestal of abalone shell. Going 90, I ain't scary, 'cause I got the Virgin Mary assuring me that I won't go to hell.
Our Lady of the Shooting Stars, was that you last night? Did we dance a whispered waltz? Did I hold you in my sight? When morning came with open arms, she lifted you from me. The sunlight burned my eyes away, now I cannot see. Our Lady of the Shooting Stars, as I face the early light, all that I can think of now is joining you in flight. But I have followed Gypsy's girl, I've lost my way back home. I've held the phoenix to my chest and ended up alone. If I move to you, will you move to me? If I move to you, will you move to me? Our Lady of the Shooting Stars, teach me how to know. I wanna feel my thoughts go dark and rest inside your flow. I'll awaken without fear and breathe the cool, clean air. With your words upon my lips, your will becomes my prayer. If I move to you, will you move to me? If I move to you, will you move to me? what you have done. You've led me to the water's edge, running from the sun. Are you in the briny mist? Do seagulls scream your name? Their wings suspended by your love, or do I reach for you in vain? If I move to you, will you move to me?
Jangles and dance for you. Worn out shoes, silver hair, a ragged shirt, and baggy pants. He did the old soft shoe. He jumped so high, he jumped so high. Then he lightly touched down. Mr. Bojangles, yeah, Mr. Bojangles. He's Mr. Bojangles, and he can dance. I met him in the cell of New Orleans when I was down and out. He looked at me to be the eyes of age, as he spoke right out. He talked of his life. He talked of life. He laughed, slapped his leg a step. He said the name Bojangles and he danced a lick across the cell. He grabbed his pants, a better stance, and then he jumped up high. He clicked his heels, and he let go a laugh. Whoa, he let go a laugh. He shook back his clothes all around. He's getting loose now. He said, Mr. Bojangles, they call me Mr. Bojangles. Yeah, I'm Mr. Bojangles, 'cause I can dance. He danced for those at minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. He spoke with tears of 15 years, how a dog and him they traveled about until his dog up and died. He up and died. After 20 years he still grieves. He said I dance at every chance in the honky tonks for drinks and tips, but most of the time he said I spend behind these county bars. Oh, I drink some beer. He shook his head as he shook his head. I heard someone ask him, please. Hey now, Mr. Bojangles. Oh, Mr. Bojangles. Come on, Mr. Bojangles. Well, now dance, roll lay away. Yeah, come on.
across from Mr. Blues, my faded leather jacket, my weather-broken shoes. A chill north wind was blowing, but the spring was coming on. As I wondered to myself just how long I had been gone. So I strode across Old Main Street, walked down a flight of stairs, stepped into the hall and saw all my friends were there. A neon sign was flashing, welcome, come on in. It feels so good, feeling good again. My favorite band was playing an Otis Redding song. When they sang the chorus, everybody sang along. Dan and Margarita were swaying side by side. I heard they were divorcing, but I guess they let it slide. And I wished I had some money with which to buy the round. I wish to cash my paycheck before I came to town. But I reached into my pocket, found 320s and a 10. It feels so good, feeling good again. Sitting on his stool, watching Butch and Jimmy John, talking loud and playing pool. The boys from Silver City were standing by the fire, singing like they thought they were the Tabernacle Choir. And I wanted you to see them all, I wish that you were there. I looked across the room and saw you standing on the stair. And when I caught your eye, I saw you break into a grin. It feels so good, feeling good again. I wanted you to see them all, I wish that you were there. I looked across the room and saw you standing on the stair. And when I caught your eye, I saw you break into a grin. It feels so good, feeling good again. It feels so good, feeling good again.
My last but one track in this show, the penultimate track, is by a black guy born in Chicago, Illinois, Gil Scott Heron, who for 40 years, between 1970 and around about 2010, was producing spoken jazz soul records. It's quite an unusual format. And he's famous for a song called A Bottle, but also for the one I'm going to play, which is The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. Goes along with the civil rights movement, with the Black Panther movement, with Huey P. Newton's writings and so on. Gil was in trouble with drugs most of his life, and in 2001 spent 3 years in prison for possession of cocaine. In 2006 he got sentenced again for breaking parole by walking out of the rehabilitation centre. In 2008 he announced that he was HIV positive, and he then went on to die from AIDS. But he never really put himself down or said, look at me, I'm a sad man. And this lasting track in my mind, in my memory, is The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. And the revolution will not be televised because the revolution will be live.
Be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. Women Liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
So my last track tonight here on East Hearts Radio is an Eric Burdon and War song. Now you may know who War are, and you may know who Eric Burdon is. You may know that he did The House of the Rising Sun in the mid-60s, was #1 in England. They were a northeastern band of rough and ready fellas, including Chas Chandler on bass. And they went to America, were enormous. 60 years later, Eric Burdon's voice is still there. He has the most bluesy voice for an 80-year-old. And his life whilst touring, he was a dreadful man. And he ingested everything you could ingest. And took part in every debauched act that touring rock musicians did. However, he did an album called Black Man's Burden. Again, I think around about 1970. And it was with an up-and-coming band that nobody had heard of called War. War went on to have massive success without him. Eric Burdon went on to have some success in his solo work after that. Now, the song that is going to be my last one tonight is a long song. It actually lasts just under 7 minutes, and so we're going to play me out tonight with it. And it's called They Can't Take Away Our Music. And obviously, I have a message there, because there are things that will live with you forever in your life. Your parents, your family, your music, your books. Being a lifelong supporter of Tottenham Hotspur is a burden I will carry forever and ever. And of course, Eric Burdon's album was called Black Man's Burden, and he, as a white guy, fronted this band. So good night to you. This is Dennis O'Sullivan on East Hearts Radio, hoping I'll be able to play some more wonderful songs this time next week.
There's a feeling shared today by the people whose freedom has been taken away. And as in the past when times were wrong, the common folks come together in song. How will we win? With what will we fight? We hope with this song, our world we will unite.
Oh, there's one thing
sure. It's so proud and it's so pure.
And it comes from deep within. It's got no hair, it's got no skin.
As we travel far and near, we bring the word for you to hear. And the message that we bring is alive in the words we say. And no matter how bad you feel, we got something they can't steal. No, they can't. No, they can't. No, they can't take away our music. No, they can't. No, they can't. No, they can't take away our music. In the ghetto, it gets cold, but we got something to warm our souls.
Like the blanket of our faith keeps us covered when we shake.
Though they take my brother's life and deny his given right. Yes, the message.
This is East Hearts Radio.
Your number one local radio station.
I love the music. Takes me back to when I was younger.
It's just a wide variety. It's upbeat, it's uplifting, it's feel-good music.
Covering Hertford, Ware and beyond. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/East Hertz Radio.
It's just a good music mix and you can sing along. It's all sort of happy times and yeah, I love it.
Local radio by local people.
For more details, visit easthartsradio.co.uk.